Hey everybody, I am back with another video. I am going to show you how I meal prep at least 2 weeks worth of food for my pit bull. He fluctuates between 92 and 98 pounds. I am going to feed him about 1.9% of his body weight. He's not the most active dog. He's had several knee surgeries, so we don't run him a lot. So that's why I stick to the lower percentage. You can fluctuate between like 1.5 and 3% of what you should feed them based off their body weight. But that's what I feed my dog. This video has been highly requested, so I'm just going to show you the products that I'm using and then do a quick time lapse of me making his food, putting it away and cleaning it up, so then you can kind of get a rough idea of how long it will take for you to meal prep for your dog. A majority of Duke's food is already ground up and put into Ziploc bags or plastic containers that I can reuse. So I'm going to go ahead and thaw all of that out, and then in a couple hours I'll be back to be able to prep his food. It is currently 10:13 in the morning, and I just wanted to give you a quick timeline of about how long on average it takes for me to prep for Duke. So yes, I do feed my dog a raw diet. We do not cook any of his food. I'm going to thaw out 3 different types of raw muscle meat for Duke. The first type of raw muscle meat is ground beef, and this ground beef is 5% fat. I'm also going to thaw out this ground beef, and this ground beef is 15% fat. I tried to go for 10%, but it's a little bit hard to get these days, so I am just using 10% for him right now. I'm currently doing an all beef diet for him. He is very sensitive to various meats, so you may hear people say that dogs need several different types of proteins to get all of the nutrients that they need, but Duke is a special type of dog and he is allergic to various proteins. So in this diet in particular, I am going to do a majority of beef. Actually, I'm going to do all beef. And the reason why I'm using the lower fat percentage is because he is very prone to pancreatitis, and so the lower the fat, the better for Duke. Our third muscle meat is green tripe. This is a 5-pound roll of beef green tripe. And if you're curious of what beef green tripe is, just Google it. So that way I don't have to gross anybody out. Well, I'll tell you what it is. The beef green tripe is the stomach of a cow. So if you get it fresh, you will see a whole bunch of grass that the cow ate, and then you like shake that out and then you grind it up. I will show you when I make his food what this beef green tripe looks like. It's more shredded. I buy this from a company. This isn't one that I did myself, so theirs looks a little different than what mine would look like. Next, I'm going to thaw out the organ meat, and the organ meat we are going to be using is beef liver as well as beef kidney. And this beef kidney in this Tupperware is grinded up. I bought beef kidney in bulk and then I put it through my meat grinder just so that way when I went to go prep for him, I didn't have to spend a lot of time chopping up all the meat. It's already grind up. It's already ready for me to weigh. That is it for the meat portion for him. Next, I'm going to thaw out vegetables. These vegetables have broccoli, spinach, kale, just a mixture of different vegetables. I steam them and then I freeze them so that way when it's time to prep for him, it's ready to go. Now I'm going to gather all of the supplements that I'm going to add to his food. Due to the fact that Duke is allergic to a majority of things, I have to supplement a lot of his food. You'll notice I didn't thaw any raw meaty bones for Duke, and that's because it's hard to find beef bones that aren't super hard on their teeth. In one of his other meals, I do feed him duck feet because he's the less sensitive to duck feet, but he still is a little bit sensitive to them. So I try to switch up his meals. One all beef, one I have some duck feet and some venison. So instead of using bone, we are supplementing with bone meal powder. I am also adding basic B complex to his meals. I will also be adding liquid vitamin D3 to his meals. He will be getting some flax oil. I actually keep this oil in the fridge as well. And the last of his supplements is kelp powder. They also have this in a pill form, but the powder is just easier to scoop out. Depending on what his daily needs are, I may add some CBD, some joint supplements, or something for his stomach if he's experiencing gastro issues. But as far as daily, this is what he gets every day, no matter what. So it's currently 10:25. I am going to thaw all of this out, and then I will be back here in a couple hours, so that way we can get meal prepping. If you don't have a lot of space in your sink to thaw meat out, I recommend thawing things out on a baking sheet because it will get a little bloody and you don't want that all over your counter. So I will just put a majority of his stuff on a baking sheet. Okay, so we are back and we are ready to record. It is currently 7:58 in the evening, so it's a little later than I wanted, but it's better late than never. So we are going to get everything set up and we will get started. So first we need a cutting board. Next we need a scale. And you want to make sure that your scale does ounces. And ounces, you want to make sure your scale goes in 2 decimal places. So that way it can read 1.07 or 1.78. Next we need a bowl to put your meat in to weigh it. And then next you are going to want to set up your containers. Okay, so we are going to get started, and we are going to be starting with the 5% fat ground beef, and we are going to be doing 4.8 ounces of that ground beef. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to the 10% ground beef, and I'm going to do 4.42 ounces. Alright, so I'm all gloved up, and that must mean that I'm on to the tripe and the kidney because that stuff stinks. So I'm going to be doing 0.49 ounces of the beef kidney. Alright, I'm moving on to the beef liver. I'm going to be doing 0.49 ounces of this, and this is actually the only thing that isn't ground up, so I'm going to have to cut this up, and that might take a little bit longer. Alright, next I'm going to be doing the green tripe, and I'm going to be doing 2.6 ounces of this in each meal. And I forgot to mention that Duke gets fed twice a day, so 2 of these is his 1 daily amount. So the recipe that I'm using, I'm just cutting that in half since he gets fed twice a day. Now I'm moving on to the vegetables, and I'm going to be putting 1 tablespoon in each container. Now I'm going to add 3/4 teaspoon of organic sunflower oil, and you want to make sure that it is cold pressed. I'm going to add the flax oil, which is about 0.25 teaspoons, and I'm pretty good at eyeballing this, so that's what I'm going to do. Now we are going to add the liquid vitamin D3, and we're going to do 1 drop in each container. Now I'm moving on to the bone meal powder, and I'm going to be adding 0.75 teaspoons to each container. Next is the krill oil, and this needs 1 pill every day, and it is liquid inside, so I'm just going to cut it with scissors and then squeeze it inside of the container. Moving on to the kelp powder, and I'm going to be doing 1/2 scoop in every other container. Moving on to the basic beak complex. This one is a little tricky. This one gets 1 capsule in about every 20 containers. So what I do is I sprinkle a little bit in every container. Okay, so we are finally done. It is 9:05, and I've actually already put the dishes in the dishwasher, so we are off to a good start. Now I just need to put the lids on all of the containers and put the containers in the freezer. I usually keep about 6 containers in the refrigerator at a time, and then I feed Duke in the morning and I feed him at night. Let me know if you have any questions about what I feed Duke. Also, let me know down in the comments what other types of videos you would like to see. And I'm ready for bed, so I'm gonna get this stuff put away, and we'll catch you next video. Thanks so much for watching.